this week on the Bubble Chat.
They're not praising you for real. They are really tearing you apart and acting like it's a joke as well. You know what I mean? So that wasn't appropriate.
Cause sometimes you just gotta let a kid be a kid.
Exactly.
I'm sure every kid, every child should have jumped on a bed with their shoes on. This was all about that medical premium insurance policy that they were tired of incurring, because you gotta think, see, she went through the fluffle of the fuckery.
Just learning about it honestly makes me think about how James even has the room to say his opinion on people losing their jobs. Because whether it's because of budget cuts, a company shutting down, or whatever that reason may be, and that is just a huge part of my issue with this whole thing.
Legal battle brewing in the tech of music worlds. Pop star Dula what's her name?
Dua Lipa.
Dula Lipa.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Welcome back to another brand new episode of the Bubble Chat. Hop in, grab your favorite drink, and get comfortable, because today we are absolutely bursting at the seams with the things to talk about.
We got a massive lineup for you today. We're diving straight into the biggest trends, current takeovers of our timeline, sharing a few hot takes of that might just ruffle some feathers. And of course, bringing up your signature unfiltered breakdown of the week. Most talked about pop culture moments.
Well, before we jump into the chaos, we have a quick favor to ask. If you love hanging out with us every week, please make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. Leaving a quick review or rating also helps us grow the bubble, and we appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to do it.
So whether if you're listening in on your morning commute, winding down after a long day, or just need some background noise while you pretend to be productive, we're so incredibly glad that you are here. So let's not waste any time or another motherfucking second. We have a lot of piping hot tea to spill. Let's get right into it. And as the great Wendy Williams once said, how you doing? It's time for Hot Topics.
All right, moving into our first big topic, we need to talk about the massive backlash of the Kevin Hart roast on Netflix. The Minneapolis community leader of the racist justice advocate on strongly, what is that word? Commending a joke. Condemning a joke made by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe. During his closing set, referred to Kevin Hinchcliffe said, "The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking at us laughing so hard he cannot breathe." Oh, wow. Yeah, that wasn't cool. That he cannot breathe. Wow. Hold on, guys. I lost where I was at. Oh, looking down at us, looking up, laughing so hard because he can't breathe. Now, if you want the full content on what we linked in the previous episode down below, George Floyd's auntie Angela Henderson and cousin Paris Stevens spoke out, saying that while they believe that the roasts were meant to be punchline boundaries, were meant for pushing boundaries, the comment was deeply disappointing, and it put a powerful moment when Perry says, "I can't breathe," and cried out for his mother during final moments of his murder. It's not a joke. It was fear and pain and darkness and heartbreaking. These words impacted millions of people across the world. Advocates are also pushing back on Monique, what's her name? Clitoris Dottie, co-founder of the Black Lives Matters Minneapolis, called the segment cruel, reckless, and deeply disrespectful. Meanwhile, civil rights attorney Nakima Lee Armstrong, Citizen Netflix, and corporation media platforms for even discussing this as content. Oh, wow. because this was advocated or demeaning accountability,
Demanding accountability.
demanding accountability for four specific ways. One, first, a direct public apology from Tony Hinchcliffe to George Floyd's family and people of
Minneapolis,
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Thank y'all. Second,
the algorithm.
yeah, a second public statement, accountability measuring from Netflix. Third, a public response from Kevin commending the remarks that
Condemning.
condemning the remarks that aired under his platform. And finally, removing the edit of the segment for all the future broadcasters and streamers. So I want to turn this over to you guys. What are your thoughts? Do you think that the demands of accountability are justified, or do you think the roast should just completely be off limits to censorship?
Censorship.
Censorship. What do y'all think?
I want to dive into my own thoughts on this because honestly, I believe the demands for accountability are justified, and the call to action following this is completely imperative. First and foremost, I don't blame George and Floyd's family at all for speaking up and expressing how they feel. Their feelings are 100% valid. You know, when that video originally released, it was horrifying. I can't even imagine the fear that George felt in his final moments while dying while Derek Chauvin kneeled on his neck. Now, as far as the footage of Kevin Hart laughing during the set, I've been thinking about this a little more. Now, I could be wrong, so listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have to remember how editing works. That could easily have been a clip of him laughing at something else entirely, and whoever was responsible for the editing placed it while Tony was telling the joke just to paint Kevin as the bad guy. And half of me really doesn't feel like Kevin was laughing at that specific joke because honestly, as a black man, this isn't something I would laugh at all. You know, and I feel like since George is passing, we have seen so much activism, education, reflection, and deep conversations with each other and with ourselves. And his death affected millions of people. And it's not just Tony Hinchcliffe. Look at Shane Gaines. He also needs to hold himself accountable for making a joke about lynching. And I said this
Mhm.
in the bubble chat last week that we are talking about a deepful, painful history in the U.S. where, according to the NAACP records, thousands of lynchings took place between 1882 and 1968. Because that is real trauma, not a fucking punchline. I said this before last week, and I'm saying it again. The comedian community needs to do better. They have to stop using the "it's a joke" card to escape backlash. Tony, Shane, and comedians like them should be holding themselves accountable for making jokes like that, especially when the community and families like George are rightfully calling them out and condemning that behavior.
Coming from a comedian myself, and Adonis, you might be able to identify with this too. Sometimes people say we go too far. Like even with my own family, my brother has said I've gone too far before. My mother started crying because I told a joke about some stuff that that she felt like it hurt her. So um about the Floyd one though, I watched the whole roast. I didn't even hear that joke. But if it's on there, it's on there. You know what I mean? But my thing is, we do need to be sensitive if someone lost their fucking life. In that same situation, I cannot breathe, and we're making a joke about it. I don't really joke about stuff like that because that ain't funny to me. You feel me?
Right.
Like even the whole Netflix thing about how all those white people was talking to Kevin, like to me it was like, damn, Kev, it's like you lost your black card a little bit and hired all these white people to do your show, and you let them talk about Cheryl Underwood like really, really bad. To saying that they couldn't see her unless it was like we can't see Cheryl because it's midnight. They did a lot of racial shit on this roast. And to me, it was like, remember when they used to have the black people be the entertainment for white people? And then they would laugh at us and all of that shit. That's kind of how I felt when Kev was laughing at this stuff that they were saying about him. And I'm like, damn, that's my favorite fucking comedian. Everybody knows that's the reason I am a comedian. But at that moment, I was like, they're not praising you for real. They are really tearing you apart and acting like it's a joke as well. You know what I mean? So that wasn't appropriate about the George Foreman joke. I mean George, not George Foreman. Excuse me,
George Floyd.
George Floyd. Fuck. Now you see, I got his name wrong, but that was funny. But you know what I mean? That was not cool.
It really was.
But comedians, when we're talking about death and stuff, we could do better with that. What you think, Adonis?
Um, there's this phrase that I came up with some time ago, and it's being consciously unconscious. Where you are consciously aware of maybe the subject, the person, what you are saying, but you are totally oblivious and unconscious of what your words, how they impact, what they truly, truly mean, and how someone else is interpreting them.
Yes.
Being an uncouth truth speaker, all right? Having no shame and having rights to talk about any and everyone. I have totally crossed the line before, but I don't believe I'll cross the line in a politically controversial, tempered subject or person, because I am consciously conscious of the things that I am speaking of, especially who. Now, I do believe that they Chicken George Kevin Hart.
Definitely.
And it is what it is. And that's all right, because that's what happened.
Yeah,
But I don't even think he know that they did that.
well, okay. Well, next up, we need to talk about actress Hayden Panettiere, who just opened up in a really raw interview with The Hollywood Reporter about the long-lasting impact of starting her career as a literal baby. This interview comes right at ahead of the May 19th release on her memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning. When she was asked about feeling constant pressure to work and honor commitments, Hayden said, I think, and I quote, I think it was the way I was raised. I was groomed. I was like a little soldier, and I always have been. No was never an option. She described her childhood as just being told, here are your here are your scenes, here is your dialogue, memorize it, hit the marks, do what your director tells you to do, adding that she just took her marching orders. But it even gets heavier, and she explained that as she got older, the line between mother and her manager became totally blurred, and she started viewing her mom strictly as her boss. Hayden recalled that everything was business and said, I became the confidant and the assistant and the therapist and the shoulder to cry on and everything but her child. Ultimately, she had to work up to courage to sever the professional relationship when she was 19 years old while filming her NBC show Heroes. Because at the end of the day, she just wanted her mom to be her mom. Um, I've covered many stories like this on the podcast, and to this day, it's a heartbreaking look into the reality of child stardom and the toll it takes when family and business gets mixed up. What do you guys think about Hayden's revelation and the pressure put on a child actors in the industry? I want to start
I
with
just saw the interview this morning on The View, and what made her so famous was that she was a tearjerker. She could just cry at the drop of a dime. So her character at 4 and 5 years old had cancer.
Wow.
Then when she got like a preteen or the 2-digit numbers, like before she was like 14, then she killed her mama's boyfriend on the soap opera. So it's like every episode she is crying. Like you know, like all the time, all the time. So she was like, that was very, very stressful because, like, you know, it was, she said it was like tears were like breathing. She just always had to cry. She could just do it on point, on focus, on time, XYZ, blah, 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 blah. When it got to her being 19, she said that was just a totally failed attempt in trying to nurture or rekindle a mother-daughter relationship. Her mama was not fucking with it. Her mama actually went and her mom make like a public statement against her. Like, yes, like I'm not fuck with you, bitch. Make that money, get it. This was your child prodigy. So, you know, we see child stars, you know, such as Michael Jackson, such as, you know, even Janet Jackson, you know, actors, the Disney babies, all these things, you know, at some point, at some time, you just gotta let a kid be a kid.
Exactly.
I'm sure every kid, every child should have jumped on a bed with their shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Every child should have like chased bubbles, right?
Well, the jumping on the bed part
Well, I'm
is
just saying that's just a kid thing. You know,
yes.
like if they, even though when you know you're not supposed to do it, you're gonna take the opportunity to jump your ass in that goddamn bed.
Yeah, that's how my daughter
That's like a
passed, jumping on the
pastime.
bed. That's why I was like, ugh, jumping on the bed is like, I'm really against kids jumping on the bed just because my baby died that way. But that is a kid thing because they was having hella fun doing it until they got their butt caught.
Playing hide and seek. That is the pastime of a child.
I definitely understand that some of these parents be working the child too hard. They're not having a room to be a child because they got to remember a script and they got to go do this and they got to take pictures and they got to do interviews. And they're like, damn, I just want to go to regular school. I don't want to, I didn't want to do this. You
A bitch
chose this for
cannot
me.
just go to the park for 20
The
minutes.
kids don't have a choice in it. The parents,
Right.
oh, I'm putting you in modeling and that's what it's going to be. And they can't say no to their parents. So it's like, what do they do? But yeah, I do think it's too much pressure on the kid having them do all of that stuff.
I'm just
I
happy
really
that
think
she found her voice. I'm sorry, nephew. I'm just happy that she's not on drugs, that she isn't damaged, and that
Hmm.
she found her voice and she's actually been able to share the story in a healthy manner. That's the best part of this story. Even though
I
she
haven't seen the interview yet. I gotta go watch it now. So
Go ahead, nephew.
all right. I just want to say I really want to take a moment to praise Hayden for having the courage to speak up about her experience. And I completely sympathize with her because it takes a massive amount of guts to lay your trauma bare like that, and especially when it involves your own family. It makes you think about how the industry operates, at least at the time. Honestly, I feel like if child age appropriate job descriptions in the acting industry and the protections were set up then back then and the way they are now in most cases, maybe we wouldn't have to keep hearing these heartbreaking, traumatizing experiences from former child stars. But back in the day, whether it was Nickelodeon or Disney Channel or any other major project, the focus was purely on making money. I mean, these kids are and teens were treated like full on adults, and they were expected to perform at a high level, all while balancing school. And because of that, they missed out on so many normal child and hood and teenage events that regular kids take for granted. And I feel like the sad reality of that is they felt forced to make those massive sacrifices because a lot of people don't realize the hardships these kids and these families were facing behind the scenes. Because in some cases, these kids were the ones taking care of a sick loved ones because healthcare plans and costs were sky high, or their family was on the absolute verge of eviction, and the pressure on a child to carry that financial survival of their entire household is just insane. I'm just honestly glad that Hayden is finally getting to tell her story on her own terms, and I hope the industry keeps moving forward toward actually protecting these kids instead of just profiting off them.
yeah,
I believe the children are our
here we go,
future.
Danielle. Your man in here singing it. I believe the children are the future.
It's as simple as that. Go ahead, nephew.
All right. Well, for our next story, a widowed father from Rhode Island is speaking out after winning a deeply painful legal case against his late wife's parents over visitation rights with his daughter. Scott Naso shared that he has been living in absolute survival mode ever since his wife, Sharzad, I hope I said that right, Sherry Naso passed away in 2024, leaving him embroiled in a bitter legal battle with his in-laws. To give you some background, Sherry had previously battled breast cancer, enduring multiple rounds of chemotherapy and radiation before thankfully going into remission. Following her recovery, she and Scott married and started a family with the help of a surrogate, welcoming their daughter. Because Sherry's parents lived nearby, they would help step in and help out when the family needed. But things took a devastating turn in 2023 when Sherry started to feel unwell again. Scott explained that her parents allegedly insisted that her symptoms were just related to Prozac withdrawals. Scott said, as a person and not a doctor, I believe it. Rhode Island family court records actually show some of the text message conversations Sherry had with her parents during this time. In the messages, whenever Sherry complained about the severe symptoms she was experiencing, her parents repeatedly told her that she didn't need to see other doctors and that she should just wait it out. It's truly heartbreaking. It is a truly heartbreaking situation that ultimately tore this family apart. And honestly, I hope Scott gets all the help he needs and all the healing that he can get. Because not only was this an unfortunate experience, but it's also traumatizing and also just exhausting financial wise. Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like for Scott to raise a child alone, especially in some cases where the baby didn't even get a chance to meet her mother because of his death. What are your thoughts on this tragic case and the legal battle that followed?
So let me tell you the first thing I thought about. All I want to know is who insurance premium was she on? Okay? Because we didn't ran the chemo, we didn't ran the radiation, bitch. You got to go to the regular doctor. You got to get into remission. Yeah, see, see, they was like, see, bitch, hold up, stop, wait, no, and don't. Now you didn't beat the cancer. You are a survivor. You not gonna give up. So don't be calling the doctor like no punk pussy bitch. But see, I think this was all about that medical premium insurance policy that they were tied up incurring because you got to think. See, she went through the fluffle of the fuckery. Then you got married and you had a baby. See, we ain't had nothing but to add them on to the motherfucking policy. Here goes some more motherfuckers who got to pay for it. So I'm gonna bet the last medulla in my skull that it has something to do with that goddamn insurance premium.
What's wrong with you?
Just hold the phone because I'm thinking as a real person, I'm thinking as a parent, I'm thinking as a cancer survivor. I survived cancer, okay? On the county's coin.
Oh, yeah.
I was lost for about 18 months, girl.
You're done.
I was going through smokes and mirrors, and I had cancer all in my ass. They finally got it out. Now, if I start acting like, if I start feeling sick again, I'm damn sure going because the county gonna pay for it. But if my father or my mother had to foot that bill, I'm sure they would tell me like her mom and daddy had told her, bitch, hold on, wait.
So the parents had to pay for the bill, basically.
Now, now that's not a disclosed detail in the story, but I'm trying to tell you it wasn't nothing but the insurance policy and agreement that had them say, wait a minute, sis, wait.
Yeah, because why else would they be telling her to wait a minute unless it was coming out their own pocket and that bill was higher than a motherfucker? But however, now your daughter dead and you ain't got no, the baby ain't got no mama. You know what I mean? Like that's some bullshit. Cheryl should have went on to the doctor anyway.
It might have been a scam Todd set up anyway because they probably wanted the money to cash out on her anyway from all the money they spent
Go
on
on and
them.
die, girl. Go on and die. They probably had a life insurance plan and all type of other medical
They was
plans.
like, girl, just wait, just wait, just wait. Let her get
Nothing to help her but to kill her. That's crazy.
I said if she died, we don't have to file for bankruptcy, Frank.
Right.
You know,
Because we got this policy out on her.
after grabbing all the bits and pieces of this case, I just feel so incredibly bad for Scott. You know, I can't even imagine the massive toll this has taken on him, especially financially. Because when you think of a timeline from his wife's initial cancer diagnosis to her tragic passing to this brutal legal battle, just to secure his parental rights, he has probably spent an astronomical amount of money. And I'm talking about chemotherapy costs, wedding costs, surgery costs, medical costs, and then an amount of legal fees just to win the court case. And it's enough to completely drain a person both emotionally and financially while he's actually grieving. But what I found really shocking and honestly just reprehensible was what allegedly happened with the grandparents. Court doc court details revealed that Sherry's parents allegedly pinned Scott's young daughter to the ground and forced a syringe of prednisone, I hope I said it right, down her throat. And then her pediatrician later had to treat her for croup, which is an upper airway infection causing severe swelling around the vocal cords and windpipe. To make matters worse, Scott's father-in-law claimed that he wasn't even aware he needed the father's permission to medically treat his granddaughter. And I'm honestly just so glad to know that Scott's daughter is okay, because I felt like that could have easily been fatal. It is terrifying to think about the danger they put in that little girl in. And it makes complete sense that soon after Sherry died, Scott refused to allow his parent-in-laws to visit and completely cut them out of his life. And Scott even mentioned that his daughter has never once asked to see her grandparents again. And honestly, I don't blame either of them at all, because why the fuck would you want people around who respect no boundaries? I mean, this little girl could have died after being pinned down and shoved with a medical substance. And on top of that, it was Sherry's parents' responsibility not to overlook her symptoms, to tell her to avoid doctors when she was sick. And as Scott feels, her death was completely preventable, and this is a heavy, frustrating burden to carry. Because it's infuriating to think that they played a role in delaying the care she desperately needs. So I just hope Scott gathers all the strength he can get to raise his daughter as a single dad. I mean, he is building a whole new life for the two of them and from scratch, and that takes an unbelievable amount of resilience, because as successful as this legal win is, it isn't going to bring back his wife, and it isn't going to undo any of the immense pain and trauma that he has carried. He deserves peace, and I hope this victory finally allows him and his daughter to breathe a little easier and start to truly, truly heal.
Well, next up, we have an update on the massive drama surrounding popular beauty influencer James Charles, the former Spirit Airlines employee who was verbally attacked by Charles in a viral video, has officially refused to accept his motherfucking apology. As many of you may probably know, James Charles has faced intense public scrutiny this week after posting an inflammatory video that actually caused him to hemorrhage followers. The 26-year-old influencer went viral for slamming a Spirit Airlines worker who had reached out to him for help after losing her job when the company shut down following a bankruptcy filing. Now, naturally, the internet dragged him for it. In response to the massive backlash, Charles ended up deleting the controversial TikTok and reached out to the employee privately via DM to apologize. Now, how motherfucking ever, according to the worker at the center of the controversy, it was, as singer JoJo once famously said, simply too little, too late. Child, it is definitely not good for James Charles over here. Now, what do you think about the employee rejecting the apology? Do you think that public figures deserve a second chance in situations like this, or was the damage already done?
I'm just looking at this article where a flight attendant has lost his job when Spirit when Spirit Airlines shut down.
Now here's the gag. I got fired and I see Canary. And am I asking her for help, a handout, or what's really going on? Like, just because, there is the saint, there is the hero effect that we have. Being an icon, looking up to people, giving them
Right.
way more grace and things than we should. That's what happened to R. Kelly. We thought so highly of him, and then what? Not our. It's just like we kind of gave them the gods, had the God syndrome with them. So I don't know what provoked her to reach out or be so vulnerable, or I would say vulnerable, to be so vulnerable to expect something.
I got a question.
What?
So James Charles said something about Spirit Airlines. Am I
No, he
following?
was he was at the airport, and
Mhm.
Spirit
I
Airlines
don't
had
think he
just
was at the airport.
okay. So,
It was
but
basically in his room with a camera on his phone, explaining his take on what's it like for people to lose their jobs because of
right,
the shutdown.
because
So
they
he
were
wasn't
talking
at the
about
airport.
Spirit Airlines going bankruptcy and shutting down, and it's a massive layoff. All the people that work
Oh,
there.
everybody shut down because of the shutdown of
Yeah.
life,
No.
COVID.
Spirit Airlines is no longer.
Really?
Yeah. So
Spirit Airlines need to be not no goddamn longer anyway, because it's the cheapest goddamn flight and it's ghetto as hell.
when
But
I was
however,
here,
that's Frontier too, and Spirit, and whoever this people are, Spirit. But I like Spirit a lot better than Frontier. But anyway, so James Charles is a TikToker.
uh,
Yes,
And then after that, some lady that got fired during the shutdown reached out to him
yes,
and asked for a help now. A
and then
handout.
he went in and
He
the verbal
disrespected
fury,
her.
verbal fury.
So he disrespected her, the one that asked for him for help. And then she like, oh, so now don't apologize to me now after you drugged me on the internet.
And I'm broke, and I'm broke.
Mm. It's a little sticky. First of all, why the hell are you reaching out to somebody that made a video about Spirit Airlines? Okay? Sis. I mean, what was going on?
It
Yes, we know you broke, but that is not that man's responsibility to give you a hand out, a shake out, a
exactly,
hand up,
exactly.
a leg of a shake, a hug. He don't give a damn.
Now, I think this is another example of being consciously unconscious.
Yes.
You're talking about something, someone chimes in on your live, on your feed, in your comments, and then you reply, and then you don't know how impactful your words are, how they're gonna take your words, what you're saying. You
Yes.
see, does that make sense? Being
Well, yeah, that's
unconscious.
kind of like when I had did do rag on prank calls, and the lady was totally having a bad day. She came up there with a pow pow trying to kill do rag because she really had a bad day, and I tore in.
Not doo doo.
Yeah, she tried to kill do rag. It was
I
crazy.
like doo doo.
But I'm just saying, you never know who's having a bad day, and I might hear the conversation one way, you might hear it another way, and then there's another person who hears it a whole different way. It's telephone at this point, so we have to be careful because now she like, damn, you knew I was broken. I privately reached out to you. You feel me? And you drugged me and made a video about it.
Fulfill.
Disres, damn. But in the comedy world, we would have laughed. But that ain't right, James. Now, shit.
I
Mm-mm.
just want to say this too, not to scold Canary or Adonis, but
What? Oh,
like
what
if
you about
he,
to say disrespectful?
Nigga
What?
said not to
but
scold us.
I understand that he doesn't really want that he couldn't help out because that's one thing. I mean, so the least he could have done was basically hope that she carries through.
Yeah.
But as far as this controversial topic that just discovered, just learning about it honestly makes me think about how James even has the room to say his opinion on people losing their jobs. Because whether it's because of budget cuts, a company shutting down, or whatever the reason may be, and that is just a huge part of my issue with this whole thing because honestly, let's just call it what it is. The job market right now is still shitty since it's been shitty since a long time ago, or since we learned about it in last year. Because if you look at the data from the National Employment Law Project, recent revisions from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that the economy actually lost 67,000 jobs over a 3 month period. And over the course of last year, the unemployment rate rose 0.4 percentage points from 4.0% in last January. By
They better
December, there
find
were
them a talent.
there were approximately 659,000 more unemployed workers than there were at the start of the year. And just from my own experience living in this real world after graduating college, so many people have to wear multiple hats just to get by, and because having one job alone isn't enough to cover basic living expenses anymore. People are literally out here forcing themselves to choose between eating, keeping a roof over their head, or paying their bills. It is anything but easy. So I feel like hearing the tone James used to say his opinion on people facing layoffs, like the Spirit airline workers who lost everything when the company shut down, it really highlights how out of touch he is. Because he's saying these things because he has never had a real traditional full-time job. He started on YouTube at a very young age, posting makeup tutorials for years. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like it is completely wrong to put out such a controversial, dismissive take on a platform where over 4 million people look up to you, especially when you haven't even walked a single mile in your shoes. And let's be real, this wasn't James' first controversial act. Many listeners all remember 2021 and the heavy allegations of child grooming because we see this. I feel like we've seen this pattern constantly in the YouTube community. Creators get involved in toxic or flat out awful situations, whether it's child grooming, pushing racial stereotypes, or texting underage users explicitly. And then the backlash is then you put on out these massive public apologies. But I feel like when you actually examine those videos, it always feels like a sorry I got caught moment. It's all fake tears, dramatic sighs, and a scripted performance. So at the end of the day, I want to say that James Charles isn't perfect, and his opinions on topics like these definitely aren't either. If this former employee doesn't want to accept his CM apology, that's entirely her choice. And it feels like James just wanted to do some quick damage control so he could move on from his mistakes. But that doesn't mean what he did was okay. And I'm not defending what any of that because public figures, I feel like they need to realize that real people are fighting to survive out here and their livelihoods aren't content for a tone deaf TikTok.
Hmm. Okay, next up, we have a major legal battle brewing in the tech of music worlds. Pop star Dula Lips, what's her name? What's her
Dua
name?
Lipa.
Dula Lipa.
I'm sorry, damn, sorry. Hold on.
I was so serious. Okay, pop star Dula what? What's her name?
Dua Lipa.
Okay, Dula Lipa has officially taken a legal action against Samsung over allegations that the tech grant used her image completely without permission. According to the federal complaint obtained by the people, which was filed in the U.S. District Court of the Central District of California, Lupa Lupa
Lipa.
Lipa
Dua Lipa.
Lipa has accused Samsung of using the copyrights backstage photo of her on the actual clipboard boxes of television shown all across the United States. She is seeking $1.5 million in damage. She ain't playing. Okay, and damages. On top of any profiles the company
Profits.
made to, huh? Oh,
Profits.
any profits the company made connecting to the sales. These are Pacific TVs. The lawsuit alleges that
Lipa.
Lipa first became aware of the what?
Of the infringement.
of the infringement back around June 2025, when fans online actually started pointing out that her legal team claims that they immediately sent a crease of deceased
Thief,
demanding to
deceased,
protect her. Huh?
thief, and deceased.
What'd I say?
Crease and
Okay.
deceased.
Ah, shoot. Where was I? Oh, a cease and deceased demanding to protect her rights of publicity that Samsung continued to use the packaging anyway, with her lawyers describing the company responding as dismissive and calls out Samsung has since responded to the lawsuit, denying any allegations misuse of the absolute mess of the situation. That highlights just how valuable celebrities' likeness really is. Do you guys think? 1.5 million justified for her face being printed on the cardboard boxes? Or do you think that this was just a massive corporation communication breakdown?
All right, Canary. First of all, I just want to say this. When you said Dua Lips, I cracked out because it kind of like reminds me how Wendy Williams was talking about Lipa facing backlash of, you know, of being in a strip club, throwing in cash, and she when it calls her Dula Peep. That's what all it kind of reminds me of.
Adonis, stop doing that. Sorry, Dula, I messed your name all the way up, baby. I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Okay, so I'm gonna throw another scenario out there. So Rihanna had the Fenty Beauty product, right? And it blew
Yeah.
up all these things, right? And the reason why she got the product was because it was like an inside job. They put Fenty was already going to come out. They put Rihanna's name on it because of her following and her global reach
Mm-hmm.
and her influence. The same company that owns Fenty owns Sephora. Sephora is the exclusive all retail vendor of Fenty, right? So all these dots, they all connect each other. So with Samsung, whoever owns Samsung, because what's going to happen is there's going to be some type of streaming that you can get all the Dua Lipa shit. There's gonna be a perk, but it all works together. This company owns this company is connected to that, put her on the face of it, and all of the dominoes will fall down.
But she don't want her face on there, right? So she's suing because of that.
Too late. It's too late, love.
But
And
she gonna get paid for this, though. Either way it go.
that's what I was gonna say. So that's where the streaming is gonna come in with the Samsung.
You
Or
probably gonna make more than 1.5 million, sis. Calm down. Go on and use my face, because now I'm gonna make more than that. Every time somebody print my face out on this cardboard, now I'm gonna make more money. She's probably gonna make more than one
a
something.
milk carton, bitch. Leave me alone.
Is she on a milk carton? What the hell is she on?
I'll be on the back of a milk carton, bitch. Leave me alone.
I don't know. I don't even know what the hell the lady is, nor her name. Sorry, Dula.
You know, oh,
What? What is it?
did you call that girl Dula, bitch?
What is it?
Dua Lipa.
Yes.
It's Dula?
Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go look this lady up. Dua Lipa.
Don't do it. It ain't even worth it. You can't even say her name right. Why you want to know what she look like?
I just want to know what picture she on and what box she crying about. Cause bitch,
I love Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa is the shit.
Well, pull her up on the other phone so I can see her real quick.
Dua Lipa and Doja Cat. They're pop moguls.
Well, baby, you already on millions of boxes, and I don't think the company taking it down. So
Of the milk carton, Berkeley Farms, bitch.
yeah, it's too late, sis. Go on and collect them royalty checks and go on and sit down, simmer down. We got people getting cut off welfare. You crying about being on a goddamn box somewhere.
Gas about $18.
Hello, cigarettes $24.99. Get out of here, Dula Lipa.
And the strawberries got cancer.
And you crying about being, man, I wish I was on a box somewhere. Goddamn. And I
Uh,
ain't talking about a coffin box, Lord. Not right now. But
all
put me on
right. Look,
somebody's Fendi, Tindy, Tumu, whatever box. Shit. The hell is we crying over the box for? You want 1.5 million, girl, bull. You about to make more than that. I will shut the fuck up.
She should ask for 15.
Million?
Yeah.
Because she only want 1.5. That's kind of low.
I want 15.
I want to make 15 million every time this box come out. How about
I'm
that?
gonna make me $15 million next year.
Okay, speak
okay,
it.
okay,
Hey,
okay, okay,
hey.
okay, okay,
Okay, we getting off board. Okay,
okay. All
speak
right,
it.
okay, okay. All right. I just want to say this. Looking at this case really takes me back to growing up and seeing how brands use star power. I remember constantly seeing advertisements on television or product packaging designed to get customers initially hooked, whether it's promoting a new movie, a massive TV show, a new rollout for Disney Plus, or famous artists like Hannah Montana. It's an age-old marketing tactic, or maybe Taylor Swift's. But here's
No, no. Leave that white fish in her can. See, you had to pull out that Swifty sardine, didn't you?
Oh my
You
God.
just couldn't do it, huh? You just had to do it.
Ah,
They say she possibly pregnant. You heard
with
it, right?
Taylor?
You heard it, nephew, right? She about to have some caviar. You heard that, right?
Oh no.
Yes.
I'm screaming.
He
I'm
did that.
screaming.
all right, but
He
here's what the breakdown happened, and it's likely that this exact reason this $50 million lawsuit is taking place is because I feel like Dua Lipa never actually collaborated with Samsung to advertise these televisions. And I just want to make very clear, I'm not a lawyer, I'm no legal expert, but when you officially collaborate with a brand, there is a strict legal process. You sign contracts, you do photo shoots, and most importantly, you make sure that your explicit permission is given to the advertiser so everyone is on the same page about where and how your face is going to
That's
be
what I'm
used.
trying to tell
Because
you.
if Samsung just grabbed a copyrighted backstage photo and slapped it onto retail boxes distributed across the entire country without formal partnership, that is a massive violation. Because I feel like you can't just use a global superstar's likeness to help move your inventory for free. Because as an artist, your image is your life brand and your livelihood. If you didn't sign on off on the deal, you aren't getting a cut of the profits, and you have no control over how you're being represented. It'll be fascinating to see how this plays out in court, but it serves a huge reminder to major corporations that you cannot skip out on proper licensing, no matter how
As
rich they
long as
get.
they ain't got Dua Lipa looking like the McDonald's chicken sandwich on Burger King, I think we'll be all right. I just
Like they did Spice. They made her.
as
She
long
made
as
a whole sandwich.
don't end up looking like Mary on top of a table behind in the Samsung store, we're gonna be all right.
Oh my God.
What
So
you
I feel like she had to put some permission in it though,
she
because
did?
how can they just release your picture?
I'm trying to tell you. When you get that phone, you're gonna do some streaming, and she's gonna be at the top of the goddamn streaming.
Right.
It's a no-brainer. But girl, anyway, as we
I'm reading it. As we continue to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we want to keep shining a beautiful spotlight on creators and artists who are breaking barriers and making a massive impact. Today, we have to talk about the incredibly talented E.M. Songi. I do hope I
hey,
said this right. Name right.
mhm. As many of you remember, EM absolutely stole the hearts of the nation in season 21 of American Idol. His emotional audition singing Monsters is a tribute to his late father, becoming one of the most viral and memorable moments in history of the film of the show. And he went on to make history as the first ever Pacific Islander to win the competition. But winning Idol was truly just the beginning for him. He has been working tirelessly touring the world, and he just recently hit a major milestone. He actually returned back to the American Idol stage to do a couple of months. He returned back to the American Idol stage a couple of months ago to perform the title track of his brand new, highly anticipated duet album, Good for My Soul, which just dropped in March of this year. He has given fans an amazing treat by teaming up with fellow alumni Thunderstorm Ortiz for a beautiful rendition of John Cruise's Island Style. I don't know, not one of them people know that goddamn song. But what makes EM so special is how he beautifully blends his cultural roots, island reggae vibes, and laid-back soul into a sound that is entirely his own. Give it up for EM Tanji.
Okay. And we're right back. Welcome back to the Bubble Chat. I hope you guys stretched your legs and grabbed a refill because now it's time to slide right into the next segment of the throwback topic. Boom, 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 boom. This is the part of the show where we pull back the curtains, hopping into the digital time machine and revisit these iconic non
Hold on.
strategists,
Nostalgic.
nostalgic, I didn't want to mess it up, our download Catholic moments from in the day. We still live rent free in our minds. Whether it's a classic culture, whether it's a classic pop culture history or an old school media trend, or just looking back on how things used to be, we're unpacking it all right now. So let's hit a rewind and drive straight into today's throwback.
Well, for today's throwback topic, we have to travel back to 2017 for one of the most explosive
Sorry,
that's
made
that
you do that.
Nutella. I got that lick. Okay. For today's throwback topic, we have to travel back into 2017 for one of the most explosive moments in modern rap history. We are talking about the legendary shutdown between Nicki Minaj and Remy motherfucking Ma. The internet absolutely the internet was absolutely shook when Nicki Minaj finally responded to Remy Ma's harsh, nearly 7-minute diss track, Sheether. Nicki didn't come along either. She dropped a brand new track called No Frauds, and she brought along with her Young Money, Heavyweight, Drake, and Lil Wayne to back her up. Now, taking this shit to Instagram right after the release, Nicki didn't hold back. She explicitly wrote that this records can't be lies. Great diss records are facts. She used that logic to clap back hard on the track, rapping directly about Remy Ma's 6-year jail stint for allegedly for assault and dragging her record sales numbers. Oh gosh. To top it off, Nicki threw down an absolute boss challenge, giving Remy Ma exactly 72 hours to drop a hit. She even promised to give Remy Ma $500,000 if she could manage to book a show or interview anywhere without mentioning her name. It was an ultimate high-stakes hip-hop pettiness, and it completely dominated the culture back in 2017. Now, looking back on this petty bitch bullshit, what are your thoughts on the legendary beef? Did Nicki's strategic chess move with No Frauds steal the win, or did Remy Ma Sheeter still take the ground for pure rap battle energy? Remy Ma ate that bitch up like a stale Crispix cracker crumb. Okay, that's what she did.
I gotta go watch it again.
She obliterated that bitch when she talking about her ass popped and her ass shots and all that shit, and then she eating Clarissa Shields and Papoose up right now with her song out. You leave Rim alone.
She done already did prison time. Y'all don't know she'll beat y'all ass?
And she shot a friend over $300.
Damn. Yeah. Remy been the GOAT. You feel me? Nicki Minaj is like a whole different category of Remy. Like we got New York and Barbie New York or something. Like what the fuck?
What?
I gotta go read here to this before I can say who did what. I can't remember it. Remy been rapping for a long, long time though. She did eat up Papoose and Clarissa. I ain't gonna lie. So,
What are you eating?
oh me, I'm ignoring you.
I'm gonna keep asking.
Here's some barbecue chicken.
Are you supposed to be eating that?
It's baked barbecue chicken. It ain't fried.
See, I said, are you supposed to be eating that?
Yeah, if it's baked. As long as it ain't fried with hella salt. I got some potato salad and a dinner roll.
Is that
baby
what
back ribs.
is that what them people gave you to eat tonight?
Mm-hmm. Sure was.
So what is Diamond eating?
A spoon.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you ain't eating shit.
Right. Air.
I'm licking on Nutella.
Is that ice cream?
No, it's hazelnut chocolate.
Oh, stop eating that.
This is my dessert.
Oh.
Do that on camera.
Oh,
Y'all, okay, get back to Memory and Nikki. Hello, y'all.
let's take it home, baby. It's your turn.
Oh, we all talked about it? I didn't hear my nephew say nothing about it.
It was a throwback moment, fool.
Oh, yeah, okay, so,
He
and
was only
just like
3.
that, we're going to clock the fuck out. We have covered a lot of tons of... What? We have covered a ton of ground today, from holding the comedy community accountable and the fight for
Adonis, put that spoon down.
Politicians of child stars. That's not the word. Pro-elections of the child star to the Catholic world of influencers, drama, and corporation legal battles. A huge thank you to all of you hanging out, popping into the bubble chat, and sharing your time with us. Now we want to know what y'all listeners think about any discussions. Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget, if you haven't already, make sure that you follow and subscribe button. Subscribe. Follow and our subscribe button, whatever you get your podcast, so you will never miss an episode. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay out of the bubble. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Why did my toenail just break?